Okay, here we go. Today is day 71 of this little experiment. It is March 24th, 2010. Of course, the big news, the big event, today was a weigh-in day. So, recapping, 2 weeks ago, weight was at 286. This week, it's at 279. 6 pound drop, not giddy about it, but, I'll take it. I seem to be going through this pattern of big drop, little drop, big drop, little drop. So hopefully the next 2 weeks I should have something big, like double digits coming in. 2 weeks ago, neck was 17 and a quarter. This week it's down to 17. 2 weeks ago, chest was at 49. Today it's at 48 and a half. 2 weeks ago, the belly was at 51 and a half. Today it is at 51. 2 weeks ago, the waist was at 48. This week it is 46 and a half. 2 weeks ago, the arms were 15 and a half. This week, the arms are 16. I've been working out. Go figure. That's a number I don't mind going up on me. 2 weeks ago, thighs were at 29 and a half, and now the thighs are down to 29. So all in all, I'm still seeing a shrinking trend. 6 pound loss, like I said, I'm not frustrated because I understand, I'm fighting metabolism, I'm fighting nature, I'm fighting all of this shit. And seeing 279 in the scale was good. I mean, it's that whole psychological thing. 275 has kind of been the big number I'm shooting for. So, worst case scenario, 2 weeks from today, I should not only be at 275, I should be under 275. Might even be in the 260s. But yeah, I've got a program every 2 weeks when I weigh in. I've been recording it, and the first weigh in I dropped 21. The second one I dropped 12. The third I dropped 6. The fourth I dropped 11. The fifth I dropped 7. So I kind of seem to be into, at least for now, a stable pattern. So yeah, that means 2 weeks from today should be hopefully a 10 to 12 pound drop. I took today off, as promised. I said that because I was kind of feeling a little hurt on my right foot and my right hip. I was going to give my body just a day to recover, to relax. And I know this whole gym thing is starting to become a habit now because right around between 2 and 5 o'clock, which is when I usually go to the gym, I found myself looking at the clock, and I had that impulse. It's like, I gotta get dressed, I gotta get out there, I gotta go. And I was consciously pulling myself back from it. It's like, okay, now I'm giving myself today off. It was also nice to go out tonight and not have my legs be aching and in pain. When Drew and I went out to dinner tonight at Nosh, I was actually walking in like a standard gait. I wasn't doing this little old man hobbling around thing like usually I end up doing after I put in a full hour of high intensity cardio. So anyway, yeah, dinner at Nosh. Things worked well. I went out and they had the dinner specials. They had the pork chop again tonight. Oh my god! If you are remotely close to Durham, you have got to go to Nosh when they have the pork chop. This is a huge fucking chunk of meat. It's incredibly seasoned. It is wonderfully marinated. It is absolutely incredible. So it had that. They had the sauteed vegetables and the mashed potatoes. So I feel I did well. Didn't lose control or anything. I even kind of ended up bypassing dessert. Drew had some dessert, and there was a little communication error, so I didn't even get like a little sample bite of it. So yeah, I'm not worried about that. No problem, no big deal, no stress. So I've got about 5 minutes and 20 seconds left on this before I hit my YouTube mark. I was kind of thinking back yesterday. I was talking about this whole fascination with people who are playing with gender. I was talking about seeing a few episodes of Transforming and of course, RuPaul's Drag Race, which has been running for, about a month and a half now. what struck me funny was that during all of these shows, especially during Transform Me, again, RuPaul's Drag Race, you've got guys in drag. They present as a male, but they put on female clothing to kind of become this character. But when you're dealing with trans people, you have people who have this idea, I don't belong in the body into which I've been born. And for me, that's kind of a critical thing because with regards to my weight, I never felt comfortable at a small size, and I've mentioned the fact that the whole idea for this experiment is to try and break this yo-yo dieting cycle. But for me, it was really, really interesting to kind of hear my issue approached from a different perspective. So instead of looking at it from the weight perspective, which is what I've been doing, they're looking at it from the gender perspective. The idea I was born as a male, I never felt comfortable as a male, so I'm transitioning to a female. In my case, ever since I was a kid, I've always been fat. And I can remember when I was very, very, very young, probably up until about 10 years old, I kind of resisted the idea. My parents put me on my first diet when I was 7. When I was 7, they put me on the Scarsdale diet. I think it lasted about a week. Putting a 7-year-old on 700 to 1,000 calories a day just is not going to work, especially when he's going to an elementary school where kids are bringing lunches just crammed full of incredible shit for a 7-year-old, cookies and sandwiches and all these other things. But early, I tried to assimilate. So, when they put me on the diet, I went along with it. And, during the summers, I had a pair of aunts who would try to put me on a diet. My grandmother was a distributor for an early powdered meal replacement plan called the Cambridge Diet. So when my father had custody of my brother and I during the summers, usually I would go on Cambridge, or at least I would try. Again, that wasn't very successful. But what I found was when I was in high school, I started to feel comfortable being fat. That was my thing, to the point where when I would go out shopping, I would buy clothes that were bigger than my size, so I would kind of have a reason to grow into them. I can remember when I was 14, when I would go down to see my mother's in Florida during the summer, my father would send my brother and I our allowance in the form of a check every week. So, we'd get a check come in, I'd have to go to the bank and cash it. And I didn't have an ID. So before I went down, I think it was the summer of 86 or 87, I went to the Michigan State Driver's License Office and I had a state ID made. And I distinctly remember lying about my weight. Now, of course, for most people, when they lie about their weight, they lie smaller. If they're 200 pounds, they're going to say 180, 175. In my case, I lied bigger. And for me, that was a rush. I specifically remember, I must have been 14, putting down, I think it was 225 or 200. Putting that number that started with a 2 was a rush for me. So I've never felt, I've said it and I'll say it again and I'll continue saying it, the whole idea of this is not I'm going to get thin. That's why I said yesterday, you'd never see me on a cycle of The Biggest Loser, because I'd get to about 235, 230, and I would just have this epic panic attack. I would see myself in a mirror, I would see definition lines and the abs and the chest, and I would just go batshit crazy. And I would definitely self-sabotage my way all the way up to 350, 360. And I know people are saying this and going, oh my god, that's hot, but that's the opposite end of the spectrum. So I'm trying to find this middle ground, and I think I'm almost there. But it's interesting. It was interesting watching TV and watching these shows where I'm seeing my issue, I'm seeing my situation played out, but it's out of my context. So I can be a little more objective about it, because if people are talking about it from a fat perspective, I can't be objective. I've got a dog in that fight. But when people are talking about it from a gender perspective, well, I'm very comfortable. Look, Mr. Happy and I, we've been getting along great since about age 12. So I'm not vested in the gender fight, but I can understand the dynamic. So with that having been said, I've got about 15 seconds left on this. Decent weigh-in, hoping for better next time. Tomorrow I hit the gym, tomorrow I weightlift, tomorrow I have hibachi to eat, so I have to really punish the shit out of myself to get it. And I will check in on tomorrow at some point in time.